Hi, I'm Tom and this is my MS journey.
I used to like seeing you in town. Now it's strange when you're not around. I used to like seeing you in town. Now it's strange when you're not around. Who's that for?
So my journey with MS began around 2 years ago now, and the first symptom that I had of MS was I had a severe numbness in my right foot. So my right foot just went completely numb for about a month or two. It was one of those things, I went to the doctors, they kind of said, look, we don't really know what it is, we'll have blood tests, it could be diabetes, could be this. All the blood tests came back negative, nothing wrong with me. And then the numbness eventually just went away. So it's kind of one of those things you kind of think, oh, nothing to worry about, it's gone now. And after that had gotten better and I'd moved on from that, I started just having the occasional little other kind of symptom that got in my head, and I was kind of, when you Google numbness, one of the main things that comes up is MS. So I always had it in the back of my head that maybe it could be MS. But it was such little minor things, like little patches of numbness that I could feel in my back. And it was nothing too serious really. And that was until last January now, so January 2020, that I had some really bad numbness and hypersensitivity as well, all from the elbow down to the ring finger and the pinky finger. It was really quite severe, this one, and this was where I really started to worry about MS and thinking this could be something that's affecting me here. So with this, it was really severe itching that I had all up and down the elbow, but it was all in the distribution of this one nerve. So I went to the doctor again, said, look, I've kind of, I've been to you with numbness before. I'm worried it could be MS, and now I've got this really serious kind of symptoms going on here. So can we get it checked out? And she said, kind of calm down, like, let's not jump to any conclusions yet. Let's get some nerve conduction studies. And that all came back that it was just a trapped nerve in the elbow. So that really put my mind at rest, and I was feeling really happy with that. I was like, oh, it's just a trapped nerve. All these other little symptoms must just be just little bits of numbness really that you kind of get, don't you, through life. So at that point I was really happy, feeling quite positive, was just waiting for this to heal itself. So from there, over the next 9 months, 10 months, nothing else really happened. I did notice other little bits of kind of strange feelings in the body, but again, I didn't think anything more of it. I did notice that I used to get this feeling when I tilted my neck forward, which I now know is a really big symptom of MS. Limits sign, I think it's called. But at the time, I kind of Googled it, thought, oh, it could be that, might be this, might be that, but I didn't think anything of it. So then I pretty much convinced myself that I was in the clear, I didn't have MS or anything like that. And that was until December just gone, so December 2020. And that's when I started having really bad problems with my vision. So I essentially had a blind spot in both eye in my vision. So if I was trying to read a word on a piece of paper, that word would just disappear, like it would blur into the background. It wasn't that I couldn't focus on things, it was that things would literally disappear from view. So if I was watching the telly, if I was watching the football, the player that I was trying to look at would kind of disappear into the grass. It was really strange, but it really affected my whole life at this point because it was affecting my work, because I was struggling to read off a screen. And so I had to take time off work, and that was when I really had to, get this looked at properly. So I went to an optician's, and he basically looked at my eyes, said, there's nothing wrong with your actual eyes here. There's something else at play. And as soon as he said that, I just thought, I know exactly what it is. It's MS. Because at this point, I'd already made up my mind a year ago that I had MS when I had the arm thing. And then that got ruled out. So then I was kind of happy that it had been ruled out from MS. But in the back of my head, I still thought there's something not right here. So when this came up, I just thought, oh, this is what it is. So I kind of knew from that point onwards. Anyway, I struggled to get an appointment with a neurologist because that was what my doctor said I should have, but they kind of told me it's going to be about a year wait. And I was like, I can't wait for a year. I'm at the minute where I can't see properly. I can't work. I can't do anything. So I ended up taking myself down to A&E, and they got an MRI done straight away. And then I got the phone call 2 days later just to say, we've looked at your MRIs and unfortunately we can see demyelination of the nerves in the brain. So it would suggest something along the lines of MS. So we need you to come back. So then I had to go straight back into hospital, had to stay in overnight for 3 nights where they put me on an IV steroid injection treatment. That's to kind of calm the relapse, is what I've learned now. So they did that, and whilst doing that, they got an MRI done of the spine, another one of the brain, and they also tried to get a lumbar puncture done and all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately for me, they couldn't get the lumbar puncture done. They tried twice, and it was painstaking. It was an hour each, and it was horrific. Like if you know what a lumbar puncture is, it's not nice, but I had to go through 2 failed ones. So that really kind of set me back, along with the fact that I kind of knew at this point that it was looking like it was going to be MS. So I knew that I needed a lumbar puncture to confirm it. So then I came out of hospital, obviously thinking, I was quite down and depressed at this point, thinking obviously I've been hit with this news that it's looking like I've got MS, but at the same time I hadn't had the full diagnosis from a neurologist or anything like that. So I was just waiting for that appointment with the neurologist. So then I finally had my appointment with the neurologist. He looked at my scans, went through it and said, same as what I'd heard before. So yes, there's signs of demyelination. Your symptoms aren't very bad at the minute. Not too bad from the scans. So I'm going to refer you to an MS specialist where they can make the full diagnosis, but it's going to be about a year's wait. And I was like, a year's wait for this? Like, this has put my whole entire life on hold. I'm worrying about it. I'm stressing about it. I just need to move on. And he said, yeah, I'm really sorry. What you can do is go private. So I decided to book in a private consultation. And in between then and waiting for the private appointment, I then had another bout of symptoms where the whole of from my hips downwards was completely numb. I wouldn't say not completely numb, I could still feel things, but it was completely altered sensation. It just felt strange all the way up and down the legs. They couldn't really feel where they were. All clothes felt really uncomfortable. So at this point, I had to take myself back into A&E again, because that was what the neurologist had suggested if any other symptoms arise. So I went back into A&E this time for these symptoms, and they did all the same again, because this was actually because I was split in location, and this time it was at Manchester Hospital. So they didn't have all the results from my previous tests, so they had to get an MRI done again. This time they actually managed to get the lumbar puncture done, and it was so much smoother a process than the first time. So that was a huge relief, because I knew that I needed to have that lumbar puncture done really to get the diagnosis. And so they did more MRIs. They did MRI with contrast as well, so that gives you like a more clear view of what's going on in the brain and the spine in terms of current activity. So this brings us up to a week ago, where I finally had my private consultation, and he confirmed that a diagnosis of MS, or multiple sclerosis. So it was exactly, at this point, I completely knew exactly what it was. I knew that this was what it was. I just needed that diagnosis just so I could get that checked off. And from my point of view, I can start the treatment as soon as possible and start kicking this disease, pushing it back into touch. He went through my scans and said, look, from the look of the scans, he said completely opposite to the first neurologist, and said that your scans look quite bad. Not terrible, but he was basically saying you need to get on treatment pretty quick, really, which was a bit of a shock to me, took me back, a bit of a setback. But at the same time, I was really happy that he just wanted to push me to get on the treatment as soon as possible, because that's what I've been wanting ever since the optic neuritis back in December. All I wanted was to get on treatment so that I could start pushing this disease back. And so here we are now. So I'm a 27-year-old young man, really healthy, and I've been diagnosed with an incurable disease, which I'm sure some of you are watching now that maybe you've just got some of the symptoms, maybe you've just recently been diagnosed, and yeah, it's a complete shock, no matter how you look at it. I mean, I'd had symptoms over 2 years, so I'd kind of already convinced myself that I had it, but there's always that part in your head that thinks, oh no, he'll be fine, it's not MS, it can't be MS. Like, I'm really into the gym and I'm really fit and healthy and I play musical instruments and stuff, and it's like, you just can't think that I would get something like this. Well, that's what you think anyway in your head. You think, why me? Why should I be getting this? And what I would say is you've got to flip that on its head and say, why not me? Like, this is one of those things that it affects 1 in 1,000 people here in the UK, I think. And you've got to think, why not me? Like, it's bad luck, yep, but you've been dealt a crap hand, but now you've got to take this as a positive and see what changes you can make in your life to really combat this disease, and see what you can do to push it back and to really, you know, flourish as a human, as a person in life, and not let this disease get you. I think I've heard a lot of people say it, and it's true. You've got to act as if I have MS, but MS doesn't have me. I think that's a really good way of looking at it. So on this channel, I just wanted to share my journey and my experiences, and you know, I wanted to share all the things that I'm trying to do to fight this, because I don't want to just sit back and let this disease take control of me. I've looked into alternative ways, especially around diet. There seems to be a massive link between MS and diet, so I'm doing everything I can on that front to really halt this disease in its progression, and hopefully that, combined with the treatment that I'll be on, I can live a really normal life from here on. So I wanted to share with you guys everything that I learn along the way, so that we can bounce back ideas, and you know, together, I think if we really pull everything together, we can really fight this disease and, you know, live normal lives. So thanks for watching. I'm going to keep posting regular videos of things like my diet that I'm on, the supplements I'm taking, everything that I'm doing, basically all focused on pushing this disease back and not letting it get to you, but also being open and honest with the highs and lows of it, because there's certainly been a lot of them over the last few months, I can tell you. So thanks for watching. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe. Let me know in the comment section if you've got any questions, and I'll be happy to help, or if you've got any advice at this stage, because I'm very new to it all, obviously, just starting to make my way through this. Thanks for watching.
I used to like seeing you in town. Now it's strange when